Welcome, everybody. We are going to be talking about using the calendar and tasks with Mydoma. Some of these things are more focused on in other webinars, but I'm going to try and encompass it all. If you have questions, please put it in the chat. Again, I have Marsha and Kim here to help keep track of those questions, and we will come back at the end for any questions. So what we're going to cover, how to create and edit appointments, events, shipment tracking, and tasks. So these are the 4 different types of things that will show up on your calendar. Something to keep in mind that I failed to mention, the calendar is not available on all plans, and it is also a permission. So if you do not see it, message us to let us know, and we're happy to help guide you on what plan you may need, or maybe a permission. So we're also going to go over how to change calendar views and customize calendar item types. Of course, a hands-on demonstration by myself, and then guidance and support. So the overall goals is organization and prioritization, centralize tasks, projects, and goals to ensure important deadlines are met. This is helpful to where you have everything all on one, but you can also share your calendar to, say, a Google Calendar or Apple Calendar, and it pull those things over there as well. Time management, set deadlines, reminders, and track time to optimize efficiency. Collaboration and communication, so foster transparency and accountability, and facilitate effective teamwork through comments and file attachments. So with events and appointments and tasks, you can share all that information with your clients or also team members, and a lot of different details can be shared with them based off of how you set things up. Okay, so let's come over to the studio. First things first, let's go over permissions. So calendars and tasks are their own permissions. And so I have somebody here to show you. So I am logged in as a team member that does not have calendar permissions. This is how it would show. So because they have task permissions still, it shows tasks, but otherwise, if they had calendar permissions, it would show that. If you are the studio owner, you will have all permissions always. So your calendar and today's agenda will show here. And so I can see what items show up for my information today, and I can click on it to see a little bit more details. And I can also edit them here. I'll go more into that here in a bit. So if you want to change the permissions, you would go to your studio name or logo mark at the very top left. Go to team management, and then you'll find the person that you'd like to update their permissions. So right above, you'll find their role. You'll scroll all the way over and select the gear icon. Calendar is at the very top, so you can select if they're able to view, edit, or create. And then also calendar admin means that they can add things for more people than just themselves and see other people's calendars too, not just things that are only assigned to them. If you scroll down, tasks will be towards the bottom, and it's very similar. So tasks, they can view, edit, or create. And if you give them admin permissions, they can also do that for other people. Keep in mind that if you do want somebody to create events or tasks or things like that for clients or team members, they do at least need to have the capability of viewing them. So view team management and view clients. Okay. And then once you're happy with those settings, you can select done to save. And then if they're logged in, will need to refresh, and then they should be able to see the changes. So actually, let me go ahead and just say that they can edit on calendars. I'll pull this view back up. So again, they would have to refresh, and then any updates will show. You'll notice that my calendar logged in as the studio admin had a few more items on than this. And again, that's because I didn't give them the calendar admin permissions. They're just seeing what they have access to. Okay, so now let's go over, if you do need to change your plan, you can do this on your own. So you can select your studio name, studio settings, and then go to billing. But again, if you have questions about updating your plan, please message us. That way we can guide you to the best option for your needs. There are different places that you can see calendars. So of course you have on your dashboard, as you saw, but in each project, it also has the calendar feature, and this will filter out for just this project. You also have the overall calendar on your navigation menu on the left-hand side. So if I select that, I can see for everything. You can switch the view between viewing by month, by week, or by day. On the dashboard, it does only show the day, but you can use the arrows on the left and right, or sorry, left, to go left or right between days to kind of filter through. And then same thing for month. If you wanted to use that, you can switch back and forth. The today button will just take you right back to where today is based off of what settings you have here. You're also able to search on the calendar. So this little magnifying glass right here. And then I can type in a name of a specific appointment, event, task, or shipment. I can check on or off different things. I can filter by project, or I can also filter by just specific team members. So if I wanted to see only the things that this team member has access to, then I can do that, and it'll show me what they have listed here. Of course, you can select clear all, and then you'll be good to go. So another way to open the filters is this filter icon at the very top right corner. It may be behind my face in the recording, but it's the same thing. So you can either select the search or the filter icon. If I go back to a project, as I mentioned, it does filter for just this project automatically. And you don't see the project filter option because you're in the project, but you do still have all these other filtering options for appointments, events, tasks, shipments, who can see it, and filtering by the actual name of it. Let's jump back over here. So you can see that I have different colors for different things. There's only a way to change the color for the specific item type, but how to do this, you'll select the logo mark or studio name at the very top left corner, go to studio settings, and then you'll go to calendar. So you may have to scroll down depending on how far you're zoomed in or your screen size, but it'll be at the very bottom currently. And then here I can see the custom items. So all appointments would be the same color, all events, all tasks, all shipments. So if you would like to change the color, you can select the pencil icon and then choose based off of your branding colors, select default colors, or you can type in a hex code or drag it around to kind of go where you would like for it to be. If you select save, that does add it to your saved colors. Otherwise, if you select, it just chooses it that one time. We're going to go into the link management at the very end. So I'm not skipping over that entirely, but just so you know, we are coming back to that. Now let's go over each type of thing that you can see on the calendar. So for events, you can select the plus sign here, give it a name, a start and end date, and a start and end time, a description, and you can assign who is added to this. If you assign team members to this or clients, and then change who the owner is, you want to make sure that you add yourself to the clients and team members so you can continue to see that event. Otherwise, you may take yourself off of that and you would need somebody else to add you back. So let's add the profile back for what I was logged in as. And again, you can name this however you want. So let's say we have webinars almost every Tuesday. So I'll just put this backdated. So whenever I select the date, I can go through here. I can select the arrows to go back and forth. Of course, the start and end date will be based off of what you set the other as. So I can't set the end date before the start time, which is why it's not letting me go back, but I can go forward and say that it's lasting 2 years or however much. I can also use this month and year to go back years or to plan things out further. So say that you wanted to just mark in your calendar that you have High Point coming up. You can absolutely do that. If you didn't want to use the arrows, you can select the pencil icon to manually type it in. So if I wanted to just say 21st here, I can select OK. This is similar to the times. I can just click on wherever I'd like for it to be. Or if I wanted to, I can switch the inputs and just type it in. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and select Add. So now you can see that it's listed here. And if I open it up, I can select to edit it. If I come back to my dashboard, you'll notice that you cannot create events here, but if I go into a project, let's go to that calendar, I am able to create events in this project. So let's just say that, leave all the times, go ahead and add it, and it's listed here. And that will show up automatically on my overall calendar as well. So I can see the Mydoma demo that I have and separately the Mydoma webinar. Again, to edit an event, you can click on it and then select the pencil icon to edit it. And then select save if you make any changes. But if you want to delete, again, you would just click on it to open it. And then there's the delete option at the bottom of this little side sheet. So I can select delete. It's going to ask me if I for sure want to delete this, and I'll confirm. Okay, so for appointments, this is based off of your project and the appointments listed in here. So if you do not see the appointments tab, you'll select the pencil icon once you're inside the project, go to project features, and make sure that it is toggled to the right. To the right means that it is on. If it's to the left, it means it's off, and you can see that it's no longer in my list over here. If it is toggled on and you still don't see it, that is a permission that would need to be changed for you. If you're the studio owner, it won't affect you at all. So let me go into appointments. I can select to add an appointment, put the name, and I can go ahead and book an appointment if I don't even want them to have a link, or I can paste a link here so they can manually book that. Let me see, I did not grab a calendar invite, so let me grab one real quick. Copy link. I'm gonna select add appointment, paste my Calendly link here, and give it a name. So this information, the booked appointment, is not required if you're having them book it through the link, just because this will automatically mark it as booked for you instead of them going through the link to schedule it. So if I select save and open appointment, this pulls up Calendly, so then I could select the date, time, and fill all that out. Keep in mind that all of the options, or not options, all of the different appointment type calendars, so whether you use Google Appointments or Calendly, Acuity, things like that, it does not communicate back to the studio. So once they have booked this, you do need to manually mark it as booked. So you'll select the 3 dots, select edit, and then you can select to book appointment. So let's say that I want it for tomorrow at 2. Okay, and then done to save. So now I can see that this appointment is coming up, while this one below is showing that it was a previous appointment that's already passed. If something reschedules, you can always change this in the studio as well by selecting the three dots again, edit, and then make any changes. So now if I come down to my calendar, I see that appointment type listed for tomorrow. And again, I can select in the project calendar or the overall calendar, the pencil icon to edit it, and I can make any changes here. If I'm on the dashboard and I'm looking at tomorrow's stuff, if I click on this, it will also open up an option for me to be able to edit. I am not able to create from the dashboard, but I am able to edit from there. Okay, so let's move on. If you wanted to delete an appointment, if you click on it, there's not a delete option in here. You would need to go back to the appointments, select the three dots, and then delete on whichever one you would like to delete. Now that I said that, let me just triple check to make sure that there's not. Yeah, no. You have to go back into the project, into appointments. For shipping tracking, this is only on plans that have orders. So our starter plan does not have orders listed. So if I come to the website where we have our pricing, you can see based off of our new plans what is listed here. So some optional things, task management, reporting, orders, those are just some things to keep in mind that not all plans have it. On a newer plans, it's professional. On starter, it does not. If you have a legacy plan, please message us because that's where it goes into a little bit different details. So for order tracking, in a project, you will see orders. And of course, this project doesn't have any orders set up. So let me go to one that I believe does. I probably should have gone to Wildwood since it was at the top. Oh well. Or not Wildwood, Harmony. So I have an order listed here. I can click on that order. And on each item, I can add tracking details. So this is the only place that you can add the shipping information. But if I select that, I can enter a tracking number. So some of these, if I've already used it, or if I have a tracking number for multiple items, it'll allow me to select that and it will link it for me. So if I select to edit it, I can add that information. So let's say that I actually want the received dates to be the 30th and the ETA to be, we'll say the 30th as well. Typically, you wouldn't fill out the receive date until you've actually received it. So actually, I'm just going to clear that out so we can save that. And then any information you have, you can select to copy it and search for it for the tracking details. If you click on a tracking number here, it will also open up the tracking link that you put in the tracking information. So if I am doing this completely fresh, so I'm going to add tracking details. I'm going to click in here. If I don't have the tracking number in here already, I will go ahead and type it in and then select create. So here it allows me to add the tracking link. So if you know the carrier and they have a specific link that you can look it up, you can paste that here. You can put the carrier, the ETA, so estimated time, and any notes. Once you're happy with that, you can then select add. Keep in mind, if you do not add the link, it will not have anything clickable because there's no link there for you to click. But these two boxes here, if you select that, that copies it, and then you can select the link so you can track and see where things are at. You're also able to see the shipment tracking in the report section. So there is a specific section for shipping. And I can see all of this information. I can click on this to see what products are tied to it and what orders they are on. And then I can click on this to go directly to the order. Now, if I go back to my calendar, I can see that I have my shipping details right here. If I click on that, again, I can see all the information for what orders it is on and the items that it is tied to. I can select the pencil icon to edit some of the details. I can't edit what items are on it. To do that, I would have to go to the order itself and either remove or add. But I can update any of these other information here. And again, if you wanted to just look at your shipment information, you can filter for that. So I can select search and just say, I just want to look at my shipments. And I can navigate through as I need. For tasks, there are multiple places that you can do this, but as you can see, I have this purchasing and execution task. I can see that on my calendar. I can select it to open up the side sheet. And again, I select the pencil to edit it. And I can see all that information here. From anywhere in your studio, you can create tasks by using the check mark icon at the bottom left corner. So you can give it a name, a status, priority, all this lovely information. You can also create a task template or pull from a task template. So let's say that I want conceptual design deliverables here. I can select that, give it a start and end date. So let's say the 29th through the 31st. So it pulled over all of the information for me, so I didn't have to think about it again. Keep in mind, you will need to make sure that you name that task if you use a template. From here, I can go ahead and create it. And then as you will see, it will pull up on my calendar. So give it just a second. Did I save those dates? I must not have. So let me go back to here. Make sure that I am assigned to it to see it on my calendar or a watcher and create. And there it is. It's listed there. Of course, I can still see my tasks with this other check mark that's higher up to review all of my tasks that I've done throughout. And if you have task admin permissions, you will still see everybody's stuff on here. If you do not have task admin, then you'll only see the items that you have access to. So also in each project, you do have task manager here. So I can select that and see any tasks listed here. Of course, I chose one again that didn't have any, but I can create tasks from in here as well. And then if it's on the calendar for that specific one, I can select that there. So let me go back to this calendar and add a project to this. So I can edit it, select the project. So let's say Hillside. Done. Now if I come back to Hillside, task manager, that task is listed here and it is showing on the calendar for that specific project. Only tasks with due dates will show on the calendar. If it does not have a date, it will not show on the calendar. So then you would have to go to Task Manager to review it. So just to review a task, so you do have the name, you have the status, whether it's to do, in progress, or done. The check mark here automatically will mark it as done instead of you selecting the drop down and then done. You're also able to change the priority from low, medium, or high. Assignees are the people that you plan to actually do the task, while watchers are people that just are getting notifications still, but aren't necessarily actually doing it. They have a couple less editing capabilities, especially if they're a client. So clients are not able to track their time against tasks, but if your team member has the task and time tracking permissions, they will be able to do this. They can select a timer to start their time here, or they can also manually enter a time against this task. And note that it will automatically fill out the task and project here whenever you're manually entering that. And if I start my task or my time here, and then open up my timer right here, it again has the task and project based off of where I started it from. Come back to edit this. So again, you can change the project that this is tied to. You can add tags. You can add a description, a checklist. You can comment back and forth between team members and clients on a task. And then also something else that is super handy is that you're also able to add attachments to this. So if you wanted your clients to add attachments, so let's say before photos, but you didn't want them having it in the files and media, you can add files here. I'm going to just pull from the media gallery just to make it easier for the demonstration. And it will add these items in. So from there, you can select these items. So select all, which is that very top box, or individual, and copy to the files and media. If it's tied to a project, that makes it a lot easier. But then you can see all of the folders that are in this project, or you can create a new folder. And so I can just automatically pull, not quite automatically, but more easily pull that information into a folder from here. So let's say inspiration images, copy. It says that, so I will select to go to the folder. And I can see those images that pulled over from the task. In the tasks, again, you are able to comment back and forth. If you wanted to give them a shortcut, you can select to copy task link at the very top right and either send that to them through the message center or email or whatever you want, and then that'll direct them directly to this task. Otherwise, if they get a notification, they can select the bell icon and then select the notification that matches the task notification. If you wanted to save a task as a template, if you select the three dots, you can save task as template here. This is also where you can archive a task or delete a task. Just keep in mind, if you delete a task, if you have it on any times, it will remove it. So the times will still be tracked, but the task will be listed on that time. And then also you aren't able to recover this if you delete it. You do get a little warning saying, basically, are you sure? And then you can select delete. If you select archive a task, it's just hiding it. Again, it has a little pop-up to make sure that you're sure. And as you can see, it's hidden from here, but I have the filters on the right-hand side. I can select the archive filter and I can see those here. So then I can open it up, select the three dots, and unarchive it if I need to. Let's go over to the overall task manager and go through these filters. So you do have the sort by, whether it's newest to oldest, oldest to newest, priority being highest to lowest, and then also alphabetical versus reverse. You are able to collapse these sections to where it doesn't show as much information, or I can select hide tasks to hide all of the to-do so I can go down to in progress or done. And then again, I can select show task to then show that information. If you do have checklist items on here, you will see a % completed. So let me come in here and check some things off. So as you can see, this taskbar will load and kind of go along with how far you are on the checklist items. So if you do have these items slightly collapsed, you won't be able to see this, but if you have them fully expanded, you will be able to see how far someone is in this as well. So I still have 3 out of 6 things to complete on here. I'm 50% done. So typically I would probably have this in the in progress section, but just so you are aware that you can do that. And of course, if you uncheck anything, it will then do that. And it doesn't have to be in order. It's still going to take however many are done and calculate that for you. Okay, let's see. I've mentioned all of that. So how to apply a task template, again, if you select to create a new task, you'll select this clipboard icon at the top right, and then select the option that you want. It gives you a little bit of a preview, and then you can select template. And again, it will pull everything in for you. Then you can create it, or if you don't need this anymore, you can select cancel. To find your task templates, if maybe you don't need one anymore, you want to delete it, that's in your studio settings. Oops, I didn't mean to click on that. Select your logo mark at the very top left corner, studio settings, and then go down to templates. From here, I have tasks, and then I can see all of my different templates. I can select the three dots and edit. This only edits the template name and the description for internal purposes. So whenever you selected that clipboard, what it shows there, so you can have it very detailed or limited information. I personally like to have the date at the very least in there so I know what it is or when it was last updated. The other option is to delete. Just keep in mind, you can't get this back. However, if you have applied that task template to something else, you can still open up that task and save it as a new template. Okay, so now we're going to go into what clients can see, but also sharing your calendar. So let's first go into what clients can see. Let me log out as this team member and log in as my favorite test client. Oops. Okay. And as you can see, this test client is on multiple projects. Typically, it's not that common. However, there are some times where people will be on multiple projects, but you'll just see more on this test client than you would normally. So if I go to the calendar, again, they are only able to see the information that they are assigned to. So let me actually pull this over, come back to the calendar, and let's assign them to this task. So I'm going to assign Emily. Okay. And pull my client back over. And so you can see that they are able to see this task listed here. Again, if they had any appointments or events that they were added to, they will be able to see that. So let me minimize this again. Let's add them to, that's an appointment, sorry. Let's add them to this event. So, all right. And then last, I'm going to go to a project that I know that they have. And add a appointment for them. So let's go ahead and mark this as booked. We'll do the 31st. And done. So now I can open up my client back up. Go ahead and refresh since I'm on the same computer doing it. But you can see that they are able to see events that they are assigned to, any tasks, and also appointments. They are booked. So they can click on this, they can see a little bit of the information. They are not able to edit anything. However, for a task, depending on if they're an assignee versus a watcher, they are able to edit that. So I can select edit, and they can add files. They can check things off if there was a checklist since they're assignee. They can add any comments. So again, since they're an assignee, they can mark this as in progress, done, or use a check mark. But if they're just a watcher, they don't have as many options. They're still able to add files and still able to comment back and forth, but that's about it. And they'll still get notifications. If I come into events, it depends on if you set them as the owner or if you just have them added to it. But if you just have them added to it, they're able to see the basic information listed here. And that would pretty much be it. Clients are not ever able to see the shipping information currently. So let me go into this project as the client and go to calendar. Again, they would just see this project calendar information. If they're assigned to a task and it's not assigned to this project, then they would have to go to their overall calendar or overall task manager. So it's important to make sure that things are tied to their project to make things easier to find for them. So they can find it in multiple places, not just one as the overall. Okay, so I'm actually going to stop sharing this screen and move over to my laptop so I can share that. And I'm going to show you how to share your calendar. Let's get Zoom out of the way. So for your calendar, it depends on what settings you have set up or what filters you have set up. So if I filter for specific projects, so I can say that I just want Ramsey House and I just want those, or if I wanted to see all, or if I just wanted to see a specific team member, it's based off of how these filters are set before you share it. Once you select the share option, that's what kind of locks it in to show or hide any information. So let's take off the tasks, for example, just because that'll be a bigger thing that I can notice is missing. I'm going to select this share option and it'll show me an iCal link. So I can select to copy it. Then go over to my Google Calendar. Let's get me back in. Ooh. I'm going to pause my share just so I can log in fully. I think this is my password. Nice. Okay. So now that I'm logged in, here we go. I can select other calendars. I'm going to select this plus sign, and this is for Google specifically. I'm going to select this plus sign, and then I'm going to select from URL. So from here, I can select to paste and add calendar. And I can make through Google the calendar publicly accessible so anybody and everybody can see it. Maybe not always the best idea, just depends on what you need it for. So let me come out of the settings and I can see that all of those showed up and it showed up without the tasks. So let me come back here, remake the task visible, and I can see based off of that, I did not pull that over because of the filters that I had set before I selected share. It can take a little bit of time to fully update on if you make any changes. It just depends on how often Google itself or Apple Calendar itself pulls the information. So that's just something to keep in mind. It is not instantaneous. If you want to rename this calendar or make it a different color or anything, you can select the three dots. You can change the color. And then again, if I click on this, oops, settings to rename it. So let's name that there. And then I don't think I have to actually save, so we should be good there. Awesome. So then the other option, let me again move Zoom out of the way. I can open up my Apple Calendar. I'm going to select, oh yeah, sorry, took me a second. I have to select File, New Calendar Subscription. And then again, I'll paste the link here and select to subscribe. Apple prompts me to rename it. And then I can select OK. And if I want to make any other changes, of course, I can do that here. So I select OK, give it just a moment, and then it will pull in that information for me. It does not allow you to edit things from your Apple or Google Calendar just because it is coming from the studio itself, and Apple and Google don't have all the information to be able to create or edit things into the studio. So it's just coming from the studio into your calendar currently. Something that we would like to do is be able to pull in items from your calendar and pull it on your studio calendar. That is not yet available. If you shared a calendar link and you wish to no longer share that with them, or you want to break that, that is where the studio settings linking option came in. So I'll select my logo mark, studio settings, and then I'll scroll down to calendars. So as you can see, there is this one created today. If I select to unlink this, continue, it does break the link. So I'll come back over here and refresh. It may still have some of these items on here based off of, again, depending on how often it refreshes from Google. It can take a little bit, but it will not get any other new information. Same thing for Apple. It will not get any other new information. Okay, so let's stop that and come back over to my normal computer screen. Something to keep in mind, I recently talked with Microsoft. If you are using Microsoft Online for Outlook calendars, they said that that option is no longer available to sync through URLs. They said that you should be able to if it's through the application. However, I do not have that application, so I cannot confirm nor deny it fully. But I can tell you through Outlook Online specifically, they have taken away any calendar importing through URL options, unfortunately. Let's come back over here. Okay, so what are the benefits to using the calendar in Mydoma? So again, organization, efficiency, reminders, scheduling, collaboration, mobility, because you can check this on your phone through the mobile app or through the web, either or. You have it no matter where you are. You can share this to other calendars that you're more used to using. You have a bunch of options. This QR code just goes into a help article about this as well. It will be on the recording if you need it, or of course you can message us asking for any additional guidance or if you would like for us to point you to that. Benefits to using tasks, of course you have productivity, focus, prioritization, accountability is a big one, tracking and automation. And this can also be very inclusive, so you can have your clients watching things as things progress, or again, have it assigned to them and them actually doing those things. Again, this QR code is a task overview option that you can, or article that you can look into. But that was all that I had. So I'm actually going to go back to this QR code just in case people want to scan that. let's go through these questions. Okay, so again, some plans include it, some plans don't. If you don't see your plan on there, please, please, please message us, and we are happy to help guide you. And depending on what plan you're on, we may even have a sale going on.
Some people have already reached out to us in support with regards to their plan.
Perfect. So if you aren't sure, you can select this question mark at the top right. Press and hold, it'll open up the chat automatically, or if you click on it and then connect with support, that also does it. But if you click on the question mark, you have other options for like help guides, education, community, or also connect with support. From here, you can message us. You can also view help articles, and then you can also review any previous conversations that we've had with you. And something handy is if you were to look at a help article, let's go to this one, and you were reviewing it, then exit it out to do something, if you click and hold, it will take you right back to where you were last. So that also works for conversations, help guides, etc. If you just need to get it out of your way for a moment and pull it back up.